Hello everyone, this is Stephanie Jeanette Bradley. We're on SJ 336, that's St. John 336. This is the scripture on everlasting life. Okay, so today we're just going to do a quick commentary or encouragement still in terms of playing golf. I'm just going to cover two topics: the grip and reading the greens. So grip and green. Okay, so when you're gripping your club, your golf club, first of all, with everything that you do playing golf, as a beginner, you have to do what works for you. There are certain physics principles that you'll want to adhere to in regards to your swing and such, the course, the slope, and all that, which will come with time as well. But obviously, you immediately need to address the issue of the grip. There are three main grips. Baseball, which is just one hand on top of the other. Usually your dominant hand would be further down the stick than your non-dominant hand, which would be toward the top of the grip stick, the grip of the stick. And what you'd want to do is choose between the baseball or the interlocking or the Varden. Or some people use a combo, or some people just use them interchangeably depending on their shot. So again, the baseball grip is just one hand below the other, the dominant hand below the non-dominant hand in the grip. The Varden grip, it's where the pinky kind of rests inside, the pinky of the dominant hand rests inside of your index and your middle finger, or rather your pinky. What am I trying to say here? Hold on. Yeah, your index and your middle fingers. Okay, so I guess I must use a combo because I interlock it, but it also, my hands kind of overlap. So my dominant hand is on top of my non-dominant hand, but my pinky of my dominant hand is interlocked with my index finger of my non-dominant hand. The other way, the Varden way, doesn't have the interlocking. It has the overlapping, but not the interlocking. And you can use any combination. Now, whatever works for you. Personally, I think it has a lot to do with how someone is accustomed to using their hands. Okay, so I'm a writer. I don't generally do a lot with my hands. I'm not really mechanically inclined. So, I don't know. I probably don't have as much manipulation skills in my hands and my wrist and all that as, let's say, someone who does a lot of DIY projects or something. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. So, I mean, if you're really in tune with your hands, it may make a difference to you. Some people just go by wrist movement. Some people just go by arm movement. Some people just go by hip connection to bring in the power. And, I had one guy shared with me how, if you typically should be able to just hit the ball with one hand. And that would be, if you're right-handed, you'd be your left hand. You should be able to just swipe it straight on, because all the arm in the stick is like the arm of a clock, They mean nothing without the mechanism of the clock itself. It's just an indicator. So, it's just like a pendulum. And as long as you have the club head properly and you're aiming properly, the rest typically doesn't matter, And you'll see a lot of times there'll be commentary on the swings as the pros are playing. And, all kinds of stuff might go on the way up in their upswing. behind their back and all that. And by the time they get to that ball, though, everything is properly aligned. So it really just depends, you know, on the person. But so what you want to do, you do want to take the moment and some time comparing the grips. You know, I would say take your 7-iron to the range and get a little, you know, one of those little basket of balls and hit, you know, hit 5 or 10, you know, 5 on each grip and then another 5 on each grip like that. And, you know, just see what works for you, what feels good. And the green. Now, when you are putting, you have to read the green. You are not allowed to touch the green with your hand. You can't, you know, you can't bend down and feel up the green trying to decide if it's damp or not, if it has prickly, hard constitution that would act as like a stop gate against the balls. The ball is very light. Is it flat? Sometimes it has like a flatness going on. Is it damp? Is it baked dry from the sun? If it's baked dry and the ground underneath it is baked dry already, it's going to be a very fast green. If it's wet, but wet from a torrential rain recently, then it's going to be very slow. Obviously, you're going to have to give it more power depending on the distance you have to send your ball to get it into the hole. But when you're reading the green, you want to analyze the grass, analyze the slope, and of course, all of this is in relation to where your ball is and where that hole is. So you want to you really want to go ahead and walk around it, get in the habit of walking around, because as you know, from different angles you'll see different things. You cannot see every aspect of anything from one angle. So you want to go ahead and do a 360, keeping your eye trained on the possible paths from your ball into that hole, not near the hole, not around the hole, not past the hole, into that hole. So is the grass laying down toward your ball? That's going to create resistance. Is the grass laying down away from your hole? That's going to make it a little quicker. Is the grass just straight up, freshly cut and short, and it's just kind of like almost like a carpet? And your ball is just going to be on top of this steady, even surface. And again, like I said, wet, dry, damp, the grass and or the ground, you know, wet, dry, damp, sun-dried, baked so hard it's going to be quick no matter what. And of course, whether it's uphill from the ball or downhill from the ball, you generally want to make sure that you have to putt going uphill. That's an easier putt typically. Now, when you look at that possible path, consider what the ball is going to experience along that path. So become the ball. Are there any dips? Are there any rises? Is it a straight shot? Is it a straight downward shot? Is it a straight upward shot? Consider all of those things. Okay, so definitely work on those. Those are very important aspects of your overall game. You can lose a lot of advantage if you have not figured out the green and how to read it. Likewise, you can cause yourself a lot of headache if you're not having a decent grip. So get accustomed to a grip. Doesn't have to be any particular one. Just do what works for you. Okay, enjoy the links. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe.